fantasy soccer. Well, I'm sorry. You can call it whatever you like. I don't mind, but I will continue to call it fantasy football, I'm afraid. Now, it wasn't a good week, guys. Not a good week at all for my team. You can see there that, yeah, not very good at all. So, let's look at the results, I guess, that we had. Man United beat Swansea 4-0. Didn't think Man United were actually all that convincing in the game. Seemed to struggle a little bit to find a bit of rhythm and certainly didn't look as good as they did the week before. But they won 4-0. So, yeah, that's... I mean, what can you say about that, really? They looked... They just looked like... They kind of remind me a little bit of Real Madrid, which is where in Spain, obviously, as you guys know, we have Real Madrid and Barca, and generally Barcelona are the ones who play the stylish football and do that, and Real Madrid are just ruthlessly efficient in so much as they just have incredibly good players, and they just play fairly simple football sometimes, but and quite direct sometimes, counter-attacking sometimes, but just really effective. And Man United actually remind me of that quite a lot, which is that they don't necessarily have to play that well for 80 minutes, but they just have just ruthless efficiency, basically. And, you know, when you have a sub like Martial come on, who scored a goal last week off the subs bench, this week off the subs bench, it's scary. Like, when you look at that Man United subs bench, it is pretty scary. So, you know, sometimes it's more impressive to win when you've played badly than it is to win when you're just playing, you know, the best you can, really. So fair play to them. Obviously, it doesn't. You know, I've got friends who are Man United fans, and they're all being very bullish about winning the league this season. But you know, if we look at Man City last season, they came out the blocks very, very well under Guardiola. Everyone was saying, "Oh, the league's over within a few weeks." You know, Man City are going to win it, and you know, where did they finish up? So it's never over till it's over, and you can never really tell. I mean, the transfer window's not even closed yet. We've still got a good 10 days or so of that, so anything can happen. Players can come in. It's, you know, it's going to be interesting, shall we say, but at the minute, I would have no problem in saying Man United are favourites for the win the league, but again, that doesn't mean too much right now. Swansea, I thought were quite unlucky. I feel like Swansea are going to struggle badly this season if they don't sign someone, or two or three. They've lost their best player to Everton, Sigurdsson. Very good player. They did get a good price for him. I'm not going to deny that, but thank you, Java update. But they, you know, 45 million doesn't, you know, have that player week in, week out, does it? So they're going to struggle. But I think Paul Clement, who's their manager, I think he's a good manager in so much as he's very solid. He reminds me of like a Tony Pulis kind of guy, where he's going to be solid, and probably, I think they're obviously going to spend some money. I can't see them not doing so, but they're going to, I think they're going to struggle this season a little bit. And I like Swansea. I think they're a good club, and I like the fact that they generally, you know, kind of came out of nowhere really to get and storm into the Premier League, and you know, they've had a little bit of a shaky time, so I hope they can get some sort of stability going. The Bournemouth and Watford, you know, Watford are a weird club where they just, no one really talks about them that much. They just seem to be like that kind of mid-lower table, and they just kind of sit there. And I seem to watch them, and I never really see when they win. Obviously, I can see they won this week, but if you know what I mean. I can barely name any of their players, you know. It's a weird one, and I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. It's just they're like this kind of stealth club, you know. But there they are, winning 2-0 away to Bournemouth, which is a good result. Crystal Palace in there. But it does look like we could have a similar situation to where we did last season, which was where there was like 5 or 6 clubs which were just really bad, and then towards the end of the season a few of them just managed to drag themselves out, while the rest were down there. So we could see that. I think Bournemouth have got enough about them to stay in the Premier League, but the Premier League's an interesting one. There's lots of clubs this can apply to where you have that sort of like mid to lower end team where you kind of have 2 different types of team. You have the type of team, say like a West Brom or a Burnley or a Watford, who perhaps don't go out of their way to play the most attractive football in the world, but they try to play very tight, like defensively, maybe counter-attacking, maybe just really solid teams. Not the sort of teams who you're gonna perhaps want to watch if it's on TV. You're not going to think like, oh, this is going to be a fantastic game, but certainly just really solid. And then you have the other type of team that I would include Bournemouth, West Ham, maybe, who want to push on from there, and they want to go forward, and they want to play this more attractive football, and it's got to be commended. But it's tough. It can really be your undoing sometimes. Eddie Howe is obviously a really good manager, and he's now got Premier League experience, so I think he's going to keep him up. But we'll see. And probably next up we've got Burnley v West Brom, the match that not many people probably wanted to watch, but West Brom won again. Now I don't like West Brom simply because they have Tony Pulis as their manager, who screwed over Crystal Palace, although we did get like 3 million off him in court, so that was fine, I guess. I should get over it, I guess. But there's no doubt that West Brom are just solid under Pulis, and they're going to stay up. Like, if you have Tony Pulis, you're not going to get relegated. He's just solid like that. I think Burnley have got enough about them as well. I don't think anyone was getting carried away when they beat Chelsea on the opening day of the season. But they're pretty solid. I think they just brought Chris Wood from Leeds, like a club record, like 15 million or something like that. So I think he's going to do pretty well for them. He looked really good for Leeds last season, albeit in the Championship. But I think he's the type of player who fits Burnley very well, and I think they'll stay up as well. But it's too early really to tell, I guess. Leicester Brighton, good. I mean, I think I've spoken about this before, but Crystal Palace and Brighton have this massive rivalry. Their fans hate each other. I actually don't hate Brighton at all, which is weird because I grew up like very near Brighton, and so I've spent a lot of time there, and I really like the place. I like the city. It's really nice, and I actually admire the football club because they've come from virtually not existing and playing at what was a awful ground, this athletic stadium, which was just awful, the Goldstone ground, to having now this really nice new stadium and getting into the Premier League. So it's going to be a struggle for them though, really. I know they've just signed a winger, I think, from Belgium, a club record fee, but I think it's going to be really tough for them. I like Chris Hughton as a manager. I think he seems like a great guy, and he does exceptionally well in the Championship. I'm not sure he's got enough about him to survive in the Premier League, but as I said, it's too early to tell right now, I guess. So, and Leicester are I think Leicester are just going to cement that kind of mid to upper table, like 10th upwards, like position this season. It'd be interesting to see, because obviously Craig Shakespeare's pretty untested, but he does seem to know how to get the best out of Leicester. And I think they've last season they spent quite a lot of money. This season they haven't spent as much, but they've brought fairly solidly. I think Maguire, they got in, I believe, didn't they, from Hull, who I think is a good signing for them. Because last season I think they lost like their central defenders to injury, and that was when they really struggled. So getting back up, and also somebody who maybe can force his way into the I think he scored as well in the 2-1. So yeah, Maguire and Okazaki. I love Okazaki. He's the type of player I would love in my team because he just works so hard. Like, you just see him, he is everywhere. And he's a decent player as well. He's a really good player. So I would, I'm really pleased that he's getting a run now. I think him and Vardy can have a really good partnership there. And I think Leicester can kind of cement that, like, 10th place upwards. And which is good for them. Like, I mean, I know they won the league, 2 seasons ago, but that was just a miracle, basically. Yeah, they played very well. Don't get me wrong. It's tough to say, oh, it's a miracle, because they played very well. But in sporting terms, that is unprecedented what they did. And I think most Leicester fans would be reasonable enough to be like, yeah, we can cement ourselves for a few seasons, probably, mid-table after last season's relegation worries, and then push onwards from there, and maybe push into the try and get into that top 8, and then upwards from there. Then yeah, they're going to do pretty well. Now then, Liverpool, Crystal Palace. This is where I really got things wrong, because I thought Liverpool were going to smash Crystal Palace, and by all accounts, from what I hear, they could have scored more. But also Crystal Palace did not play as badly as they did against Huddersfield, so that's good, I guess. I'm actually not terribly disappointed with a 1-0 defeat. We actually usually do pretty well against Liverpool, but a lot of those games have been, I'm not going to say flukes, but a lot of those games have had circumstances like things like a Dwight Gale hat-trick, or just Liverpool bottling it, to be completely honest, when they've been in the title race and stuff like that. So it's, you can't always, sometimes you have to look at the situation rather than the stats, so it's a bit different. But yeah, I mean, Crystal Palace obviously conceded 4 goals in 2 games, not scored, and are second bottom of the table, so that's not great. But Liverpool, that's a tough game away to Liverpool. It is, despite what's going on at Liverpool now with the whole Coutinho situation, which is probably a little unsettling for them. Liverpool are a side who I really want them to do well, because Jurgen Klopp is such a charismatic guy that you just kind of want them to do well, and I like the way they play football as well. I do feel they in order to challenge for that title though, they need like a good 3-4 players, like really good players though. I think central defence is a worry. I think the goalkeeper is still a worry as well. And if Coutinho goes, which it seems unlikely at the minute, but you never know. We'll see. If Coutinho goes, then they seriously need someone to replace him, because I think if he'd have been playing, they would probably have won 3-4-0, possibly. That's the kind of difference he can make, setting up those chances. But yeah, we'll see there. Crystal Palace, I mean, it's going to be a massive struggle for us all season. As always, the only thing I can hope for as a Palace fan is there are 3 worse teams than us in the league. And to be fair, there are 4 teams without any points, I think, at the minute. So, we're not out of it yet. It's only 2 games in. And the transfer window's still open, so you never know. Southampton, West Ham. I don't know if West Ham, I think on paper West Ham are good. Like, they have a good team. I'm not sure Bilic is the right guy to be leading them. Chicharito got 2, so kind of gutted that I dropped him from my team at the beginning of the season, but there you go. Southampton, again, they're a little bit like Watford in a way of they're just really solid and always around that, seem to be just decent basically. Arnautovic getting a red card, I don't know why they signed him. That guy seems incredibly inconsistent, really inconsistent, so I thought that was a weird signing by West Ham, but they do often like to have a bit of a maverick in their team, Di Canio-esque, so I guess that's the thing. Stoke, Arsenal. As somebody who's not a fan of Arsenal, I enjoyed that, but yeah, Arsenal, I mean, say about Arsenal, it's the same thing every season, isn't it? Like, I mean, let's be fair, the warning sign was in the last game. Like, they did not look convincing against Leicester. So, is it a surprise they lost to Stoke? Not really. They need some players. They need to sort out a lot of stuff, but they, just buying like anybody who thought that, oh, they just need a striker and they can go on and win the league, was deluding themselves. Like, maybe a few seasons back that was what they needed, but at the minute they just seem lost. That they really do. There's a lot of players in that team who I feel like perhaps need to move on, and because I just feel like they haven't lived up to potential at Arsenal. And not to say they're bad players, so someone like Oxlade-Chamberlain, for example, who I think is a fantastic player, but he just, for whatever reason, he's not he doesn't seem to fit at Arsenal. He doesn't seem to fit in any position they kind of want him in, and I think he would be brilliant at a team which really needs him and needs that kind of position that he plays in. But he just seems to play all over the place at Arsenal, never seems to get that much of a run. He was playing like right wing back last season. He's played like, I think he wants to play centre midfield. I think that's the thing, and Arsenal don't really want him there. So, as much as you don't want to get rid of good players, I think sometimes you have to be like, well, if this guy's not going to fit, then maybe it's best for him to move on. I think they have a few players like that who they just kind of maybe need to let go of so they can move on, get some money for, and then sign some players who are genuinely going to fit for whatever they're going to do, because they seem to be playing this like three at the back. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Arsenal feel like, when I play Football Manager, sometimes where I have a formation and I play it for a long time, and then suddenly I'll start losing, then I'll be like, okay, we'll just change the formation, and then you win a few games, but then you realise none of the players you have fit in that formation anymore, because you signed players for that other formation, and then suddenly you're like, what am I going to do now? Do I stick with this new formation, which does seem to be doing well, but I have to sign all these new players, or get rid of old players who I don't want to get rid of? I don't know. It's so strange to say, because when you look at clubs, you can go, oh, this club's a mess, this club's a mess. They're going to get relegated or whatever. But when you look at Arsenal and the potential Arsenal have as a club, they're a mess, really. I just don't feel like they have any sort of identity anymore. And I understand Arsene Wenger is a safe pair of hands, or at least he used to be. I'm not sure they're going to get back into the Champions League this season. But as I said, the transfer window's still open. There's still a while to go. There's still money that can be spent. There's still transfers to be done. We could be talking in 10 days about a resurgent Arsenal who've just signed, 3 players they needed, and are, going to go on a stormy run. So it's just so early to tell right now. But as an Arsenal fan, I don't see anything different this season to last season, really. So we'll see. We shall see. Huddersfield won again against Newcastle, which, fair play to them. Like, don't get too carried away though. As I said, remember last season, Hull obviously had a fantastic start. Everyone was getting carried away, and they're in the Championship this season. So, like, I'm not saying that's going to happen to Huddersfield. I'm just saying that never get too carried away with how clubs are doing or whatever. I wouldn't mind Huddersfield having, staying up this season, doing well. Hopefully not at the expense of Crystal Palace, but you know what I mean. Because it's always nice when you get this kind of fresh kind of team in the Premier League. Sometimes you need it, and they play an interesting style, of football. They're not just here to kind of defend and try not to lose, and then, see what they can do there. They bring something different, I think, which is nice. And Newcastle, that's their second loss. They've obviously got problems over money. If I was a betting man, I'd say the first manager to go would be Rafa Benitez, because I think he's deeply unhappy with the amount of money he's had to spend. I kind of said, I don't know if it was in this video or in a FIFA video, where I said that I feel that Newcastle have a fantastic championship team, but don't have a very good Premier League team, and they haven't really built on that. And yeah, I worry for them a little bit, you know. It would be such a shame if they went through all that, like, you know, struggle of trying to convince Rafa to stay and go and stay in the championship to bring Newcastle back up, to then, you know, just because they don't want to spend any money or don't want to commit to that, to then lose him at the beginning of the Premier League season. But I could see that happening, you know, unfortunately. I don't know what would happen from there. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Again, still time. Spurs Chelsea, well, I thought this one was going to be tight. Like, anybody who wrote Chelsea off because of one loss to Burnley is an idiot. What I really, really liked about this match was it was a match about tactics, and I think that's the difference between top managers and mid-table managers. Sometimes I feel like a team like West Brom have one way they play, you know, or like a West Ham, they have one way they play, or Leicester, and if that doesn't work, then they're just not going to win that game. But when it does work, they win the game, and they win just about enough to you know, hang around. And I feel like the top managers are the ones who can go, okay, this is the situation we're in, we need to adapt and you know, play to our strengths. So Chelsea kind of changed their lineup to play this kind of catenaccio style, which is this Italian style, which was kind of made famous, I guess, during the like 80s and 90s, when Italian football was like at its peak. And basically it just involves, I think it's called, what is it? It's either, I think it's the lock or the key or something like that it means. And it's basically about being incredibly defensive and then trying to take your chances when you can. And it's kind of, it sounds like you just park the bus. It's not really that simple, and I don't think it was that simple. They put Luis in midfield to kind of counter the Dele Alli threat, which was coming, and you know, they played Spurs well. They did, and Alonso has got to take a lot of the credit, because like, you don't often see a left back you know, scoring 2 goals in a game and winning the game for you. I did think about putting him in my team, because I know he does have a fantastic free kick. He really does, but I just couldn't get over the fact that he used to be a Bolton player. So I just immediately think that he's not that good, but he is really good, because he went to Bolton from Real Madrid. Like, he is a really good player. He played Fiorentina obviously as well. Like, he is a great player. And yeah, so great result for Chelsea, I guess. And you know, that's what you get when you have a top manager. You get a guy who can adapt to their games, and who perhaps knows that their team is not playing, you know, well enough to play the style they want, or well enough to go out there and dominate against a good Spurs side, you know, a fantastic Spurs side, and instead adjust that tactics accordingly. And yeah, that's impressive, I think, and that's one of the reasons why I think Chelsea really need to hang on to Conte. There's been so many rumours about him leaving, and you know, this and that and the other, but like, I think they should do all they can to kind of keep him, because I think he's a top manager. But we'll see. And then Man City Everton, 2 sendings off. Carl Walker, one of my players, got sent off. Not having much luck, am I, with the old red cards? That's 2 in 2 weeks. I wanted that to be 0-0. I knew it would be tight. Everton are looking decent, I think. Not sure about Man Man City this season. We'll see. They spent a lot of money, but I don't feel like they've really strengthened their team that much. People are saying if Company stays fit, they can win the league, but I think we all know that's probably not going to happen. That Company staying fit, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I think Pickford was a fantastic buy for Everton, by the way. I can't believe a team like Liverpool didn't try and go for him, or someone like that, because I think that guy is going to be a future England #1 easily. He just looks fantastic. He was probably one of the only players to come out of Sunderland last season with any sort of credit. So, I think that's a fantastic signing by Everton. They needed a goalkeeper, and they made some good signings there. So they're doing well. So my team, obviously, De Gea got a clean sheet, which is fantastic. He's, that's a good signing by me, I think, or a good choice by me. That's 6 points, 2 weeks in a row, 2 clean sheets. Good, happy with that. Keane, okay, conceded. I think I'm still going to keep him around. He's got 10 points, 2 games, that's decent. Oh, Walker. What can you say? -2 points. Holding's got to go, Walker's got to go. I don't know why I put an Arsenal defender in there. Cholaba. He actually got a clean sheet, so fair play. Mane, very solid. What's that? Last 14 points in total for me. Which is great. Obviously, he scored 2 goals in 2 games. Fantastic. Ali and Kane have been the massive disappointments. He did score, actually. Let's be fair. Sorry, he did score, so I shouldn't be too hard on Ali. Bambi Deli. I never knew that was his name. I thought it was just Deli Ali. Bambi Deli. Are you joking? That's his name? I did not know that. But very disappointed in Spurs. Very Kane especially so far. Redmond did well. Didn't do so well last season, but did well this season. So I'm gonna keep him around. Rashford. Oh my God, Rashford. Why is this guy? He's killing me. This guy. I thought he looked so good last week, and then this week, I don't know, just didn't basically. Kane not doing it, and Firmino, didn't really do it. Got the clean sheet bonus, I guess, but not really doing it. So terrible week for me, really. 30 final points, average was 44, so well below average, and me just massively doing so badly. 80 points in total, which is just trash. So what have we got this week coming up? So we've got Bournemouth v Man City. You would probably look at a Man City victory there, but again, you never know. Palace Swansea. It's strange to say must-win games, but I really feel like Crystal Palace have got to win this game, or at least play well in this game, because if we lose to Swansea at home, it's gonna be really bad. Huddersfield Southampton, that could be a cracking game, really. I wouldn't like to bet on that. I'd say score draw there. Newcastle West Ham, again, 2 struggling teams. I don't know about that one. I probably wouldn't bet against West Ham there, but I think Newcastle are just really struggling at the minute. Brighton Watford, I'd go for a Watford win. Watford can be wildly inconsistent. They can have a really good win one week and then just look shocking the next. Man United Leicester, that's really going to be the hardest game Man United have had this season. Leicester often do quite well against them. They're going to sit back, they're going to counter-attack. It's going to be probably a cracking game. But again, I wouldn't bet against Man United. They just look like they can steamroller people. Chelsea Everton, you kind of feel sorry for Chelsea. They've had a pretty tough run, but Everton are a side which I think look pretty good. So I don't know, I'd say score draw there perhaps. West Brom Stoke, that's got 0-0 written all over it. Liverpool Arsenal that's going to be tough. That's a big game, and I think Spurs have got to win against Burnley if they want to challenge this season. So I'm going to keep Kane and Ali in there. Am I going to keep Rashford against Leicester? changing Firmino. I'm gonna keep Mane. I might change Firmino. I'm thinking of using my thing to change the whole team this week. Redmond. So we've got Southampton, Huddersfield. Yeah, I keep him. Chalobah, I might have to keep him because I might be able to afford him. That's Walker I want to get rid of, and Holding I want to get rid of. So let's have a look at who we can get in. So I think we're going to play our wild card. Oh, okay, fine. So we want to get rid of Walker, get rid of Cahill, get rid of Holding. Oh my god, terrible defensive choices by me. Probably get rid of Firmino. I'm going to have a look. Might get rid of Rashford. We'll see. I'll keep the rest of them. So defensively, who's the defenders who have done well so far? So who's going to keep a clean sheet this weekend? Man United. Barley has looked good. Let's chuck him in. Alonso, do I? No, I'm not going to go for him. I think that's too expensive. Oh, West Brom. Yeah, I was saying that looks like that's going to be 0-0. West Brom Stoke. Yeah, so I think I might go for a West Brom. A West Brom defender. Maguire I like, but I don't know if they're going to keep a clean sheet, so I would avoid that one like the plague. Let's actually have a look at who we want to sign as a striker, and then we can work backwards from there, I guess. So as a striker, I mean, Lukaku's the guy right now, isn't he? He's the guy banging them in week in, week out, sort of. So I'm going to go and try Lukaku. I might drop Rashford and go for someone cheaper. Okazaki. Don Okazaki this week. I kind of want someone fairly cheap but good. And I know that's kind of a weird one. Oh my god, 7.9 for Benteke. Jesus Christ. I actually really like Charlie Austin at Southampton. I think he's a decent player. I think he's like a goal scorer. Folks at Burnley. I mean, Burnley have got a Spurs away, so I don't think we can see anything there. And long term, he could be good, but I think because they've just brought Chris Woods, I think it's they can struggle a little bit. So we've got 11 million in the bank. Let's see how much the cheapest defender we can get is. So who have Newcastle got again? Sorry, West Ham. Yeah, I don't want any more Newcastle defenders. They're getting hammered. Okay, well, we've got 4.5. Anybody here? This Walker's Peters guy I think looks pretty decent for Tottenham. Do I go for a Crystal Palace defender, Fosu Mensah? I'm going to regret this, aren't I? Forwards. What have I got left? 7 million. Who can I get for 7? Okay, so we get Gabbiadini, Slimani, Niacho, Gale, Gray, Dini, Austin, Rondon, Mooney, Callum Wilson, Vokes. No, terrible players there. Gabbiadini's a guy who I just like the look of, so I might go for him. Could see him getting some goals against Huddersfield. So that would leave us with Keane, Bali, Hegazi, Fosu Mensah, and then probably Mane, Ali, Redmond, Chalobah, Lukaku, Gabbiadini, Kane up front. Oh, unlimited chances can be made this week without. Okay, good. That's the wild card played. Okay, let's make those transfers. Okay, right. Let's hope no one gets injured. So, do I want to play Fosu Mensah or do I want to play Watford at home to Bournemouth. Sorry, Watford at home to Brighton, sorry. I think they're going to win that. They're home to Stoke, they're away to Chelsea. Do I want to play Keane? I'll have to think about that one. I think I probably want to play Keane. And then we've got Ali, it's Burnley at home. Do I make Lukaku captain or do I make Kane captain? Ooh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. That is actually a seriously tough decision to make. I don't actually know. I think I'm going to go with Lukaku. I mean, it's still a little bit early, but we'll see. So I finally bowed to pressure and put Lukaku in, like an idiot. I guess I didn't, but I don't think that's terrible. I think hopefully we can pick up some points this week and do, because I kind of said like my overall aim is under 1 million overall, which is kind of quite tough to do, and certainly I'm doing terribly right now, but yeah, we'll see. So till then guys, thanks for watching, and catch you guys next time.